It's all about us coming together and enjoying whatever we're sharing our people in our homes, even if that people is just us and our dog. I'm not going to show you mine, who is knocked out right next to me. But really, it's about us sharing knowledge. We have guests today from the wine world. I will let Belinda do the honors for Cassie today, who is bringing us a couple of wines. Belinda's going to share some of hers. We're also going to talk to a mental health expert, because you know what, right about I think all of us need, as we face some uncertainty going forward about how we're going to be connecting with each other, how we're going to be working or not, and how to deal with that reality that we're living in, where we're in our home more than ever before. I think we all kind of need to talk about that. So we've got a mental health expert, and we've also got a very special lady from Food and Wine who we're going to talk about all the ways that we can support our hospitality industry, because I think whether we have worked in the hospitality industry or frequent restaurants and have friends who work in there, we want to know how we can help each other, and it's through community that we get better. Some ground. How did I get muted? Oh,
sorry.
Here I am.
I fixed it.
Okay. For each guest, we're going to introduce them. They're going to present some information, share some information with you, and we encourage you to use the chat throughout the whole thing. We're going to be monitoring that and asking your questions as well, even though you're muted, and there will be some opportunity for you to get your words in and get the things that you need out of it, because it's all about us together. I don't think this needs to be said to anybody in here, but we are not tolerating any sort of bullying or hate speech or anything. This is all love. Can we all agree that it's all love?
It's all love.
Yeah, Jackie, come on. Yeah.
And
So,
Kimberly Burt, you put your questions in there, because we're going to answer them all.
yes, every single question we can get to today, we're going to do it. And so without further ado, those are the only rules of the land, because anybody who knows me knows that I don't do rules. I only do what's from the heart. And I think that if we're all operating from a nice, big, open heart, we're going to be today, and some open bottles, whatever it is that you're drinking.
Whatever it is, there's no judgment here. So I want to introduce Cassie Sakai, who hopefully is on your screen and about to chat with us. So we chose her because she's a super badass wine director, and one of, I don't know a single one that's really working right now, which is really such a hard thing. But what do wine directors and sommeliers do best? They tell us about wines. They make us feel really great. So I thought it'd be fun to bring her to do that with us today. So she is the wine director, if you've never watched TV, for all of Stephanie Izard, who was a winner of Top Chef and did all kinds of great things. She won, right, Cassie? Or yeah. Almost won? Yeah, she was a winner. And has fantastic restaurants, Girl and the Goat, Duck Duck Goat, The Diner, the Cabra, the one with all the really
one, yeah.
Yes. Love it. So Cassie, we'll give it to you. We asked Cassie to bring some of her favorite brunch wines, which I thought would be really fun. And for those who have known me for a long time, this is the only time I will ever tell you that there is no corkage. Corkage is free. Please bring all of the wine from your cellar to drink with us at Virtual Brunch. So Cassie, I give it to you.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Cassie. I just wanted to say thanks to Belinda for letting me be the inaugural sommelier and wine speaker. It's been pretty crazy, just the whirlwind of, you know, our shelter in place, and also just getting basically the notice on Sunday that our restaurants weren't going to be open on Monday. So kind of rallying together as a community, I think this is a wonderful idea, and a great excuse to like put a blazer on and feel like a normal person again. That is kind of nice. Yeah, get all dressed up, but also a good excuse to like pull some wines out of the cellar and you know, have a conversation and talk about the things that we all love, like wine. So you said brunch, and the first thing that came to mind was like, okay, what goes good with, you know, a breakfast dish or a lunch dish or a sandwich? it's everything in between. So I, of course, am a big fan of rosé. So I picked 2 different ones. I'm drinking the Domaine Tempier. Some of you guys might have had this wine before, kind of a benchmark producer in Bandol. We're in southwest France. And honestly, this wine is so good. I was just reminiscing that the last time I drank it was at Monteverde at brunch a couple weeks ago. So thank you, Sarah. One of my favorite brunch spots, and honestly one of those places where you can have pasta, but also have these like lighter, brunchier dishes. And this is one of those wines that just, it drinks like a white wine. It hits all of those minerality components that people love out of Burgundy or the Loire. It definitely has this nice minerality to it, but it also has a lot more character because it is using red grapes. So predominantly Mourvedre, that's what they're known for, and a little bit of Grenache and Cinsault as well. But these are red grapes, so they are making these wines, and you're going to get a little bit more texture and tannin and a greater palette of fruits that you wouldn't necessarily get from just a plain white wine. So those stone fruit notes, those red fruit notes are really wonderful. And then it has this just bright acidity that goes good with pretty much any kind of food.
And Cassie, this is also pretty much a girl power wine too, isn't it?
Yeah, so the story, I'll post the link that Kermit Lynch basically talks about it on his website because he imports it, but he talks about this love story of Lulu Tempier and how her husband, Lucien, they met and her father gifted them this parcel in Bandol. And they basically, it is this wonderful like romantic love story about how they came together and they discovered these old Mourvedre grapes and wanted to say like, this is where it comes from, this is heritage. And they were the ones basically petitioning to mandate that Bandol uses Mourvedre. So now Bandol must be 50% in all of the reds. And these are old vines. Even in the rosés, they are going to be at least 20 years old because they basically mandated that everybody replant Mourvedre in this region. So she just had her 100th birthday, didn't she, last year? And or was it 2017? They named the red for Lulu, so it's for her. But it was this wonderful photo of her like at her like doorstep, just like waving at people that come to visit. And Kermit Lynch tells the story wonderfully about how great of a cook she was, how Alice Waters went to visit her to learn how to cook and share that cuisine and her wines, obviously. So.
Do we have some questions for Cassie? I mean, this is a pretty amazing wine guru. So if anybody has any questions, just type them in and we'll make sure to shoot them. I'm happy to say that there are a lot of people who love your choice, Cassie, because a lot of people have this wine. And
I saw all of the chats, but I wasn't able to read all of them.
Yeah, so many good sort of memories from drinking this wine in many different places with many friends. But I know that you also brought a second one from Spain.
Yeah. So when I think about rosé, this is a wine, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, is a very rare wine that is kind of counterintuitive to what you would expect out of a rosé. So this is Lopez de Heredia, Viña Tondoña, but this is their rosé from 2009. And so if anybody's had their reds, unmistakable, they have the little the gold caging on it. They hold their wines back on purpose. And when they release them is when they're meant to be drank. And so also another girl power wine. But yeah, so this is vintage 2009. You can tell, obviously, the color is a completely different color and much more skin contact. It spends, obviously, a ton of time in vats until it's ready. But I think that as a sommelier, a lot of people judge rosés just based on the color. And if you're bringing the bottle out, they're like, oh, I don't want that wine because it's not what I expect it to be. I want it to be this like very beautiful salmon color. And I think that it is really about having conversation with guests like, thicker skin contact, rosé might actually be better for your meal, especially if you're getting more savory dishes, heartier fish, heartier meats, that kind of idea that you have to have a really big red wine with your meal. We talk about it with champagne all the time, but you can drink these wines throughout a whole savory meal.
Cassie, we had a question about what kind of wine glass you like to use and which one.
Oh, well, so it's funny, actually, Girl on the Goat, all of the Goat restaurants are purely stemless. So in my house, I have a ton of stemless glasses. It really just depends. I'm obviously drinking from a stemmed glass. I'm a clumsy person, so higher center of gravity means I'm probably going to break it. But I do think that like traditional, like this glass, I'm using a burgundy glass because these wines have incredible aromatics. The point is to be able to smell all of the different smells. If you want to put it into a thinner glass, personally, I don't mind stemless. And I think that it is a conversation that we have a lot where people are like, we don't care. We just want anything that has a stem. I'm like, I have no stems for you. I'm so sorry. But I think it is really about utility. What makes sense? What is the occasion? Obviously, this is a special occasion and a good excuse to open up wines that I have just been sitting in my cellar. So obviously stems got to come out.
So fun. Thank you, Cassie. That's amazing. Jean, we've got a graphic that shows where you can Venmo Cassie and do your part today. And Jean will put that up on screen. But in the meantime, I'll also mention that I see some real nice glasses out there in the world from everyone. And I'm using my real nice glasses because I don't pull these out when all y'all are here because they get broken. But this is a nice occasion to drink the nice wines and use all the stemless glasses. So I hope that was fun for everyone. And our next guest, because I think all of us have lots of questions about sort of how to remain sane and keep ourselves together. And a good friend of mine, Jenny Zhang, is a psychiatry MD PhD who's here at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. So Jenny, I believe you are unmuted.
Belinda, before we get to Jenny, real quick, let's go to sharing my screen so we can get Cassie's Venmo up on the screen and show our love for our wine director for today. Thank you so much, Cassie. Great.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun. And it's great to read all of these comments too about everybody else's experiences. I liked Nick's, especially the first Lopez rosé I ever had.
Yeah, right. And I just want you to know I'm drinking out of my rosé glass. I don't know if that's rosé or not, but I am. So check out Cassie's Venmo. It's on your screen right now. You can take a screen grab. We'll pop it up a little bit later on in the program.
So Jenny, I see you looking fabulous in your beautiful place. And we would love to hear just from you kind of some 3 tips maybe about, smart ways to try to keep it together. Cause I feel like I've been home only for a day now and I'm already kind of stir crazy and pacing my apartment. And maybe tell us a little bit about what it's like in the hospital right now.
So I'm in psychiatry, so we do sometimes see patients down in the ER. So I'm not, the doctor that's actually dealing firsthand with the COVID patients, but it seems pretty chaotic. ER doctors tend to be pretty easygoing people, and they seem more stressed than I've seen them in the past. There is definitely a shortage of masks. They are very careful about who they allow to have a mask. So I'm seeing patients next door to like the COVID rooms, and I don't get to have a mask because they need it for the patients, for the clinicians, the nurses and doctors that are actually dealing with those patients. So it's a little hectic. I think, I have a lot of people in my social network that are in the medical field, and I think everyone is pleading for like personal protective equipment and just, for better protection while we do our work.
Jenny, can we talk a little bit about, because I think everybody and I've been hearing it from people from every walk of life, whether they're working from home or they've been furloughed or straight up laid off. What are 3 things that people can do to stay calm during this time? Because I think even people who have a good center of gravity and are hopeful about the future, whatever that brings, there are some people who are really feeling anxiety, and we, you know, and some of us maybe for the first time, you know. So do you have a few things that we can do, and what can we do for each other if we're feeling okay but somebody else isn't? What can we do?
Those are all really good questions. So it is really natural to be anxious at this time. There is a highly infectious, deadly virus spreading for our communities, and this is a scary thing. It is also really easy to sort of spiral and spend all your waking moments obsessing about this, scouring the news cycle for COVID-19 updates, worrying about getting sick, worrying about your loved ones getting sick. And so it's really easy to worry. And the problem with that is that 1, it feels terrible. It feels terrible inside to worry all the time. And 2, it isn't necessarily productive. So one thing to keep in mind is that living through this pandemic is really going to be a marathon, not a sprint. For a prolonged period of time, we're going to all have to adapt to a completely different lifestyle and mindset than we're used to. The important thing to remember is that it is temporary. It will pass, you know, it will be over one day. But for now, you're right. We have to figure out how to stay sane and healthy. In evolution, anxiety is a useful thing. It drives survival. But I just mentioned how that obsessive, drive yourself crazy sort of worry isn't productive. But there are ways to channel your worries productively. So you can ask yourself, you know, what can you do to help the world at this time? So a very, very important thing that we can all do is to observe the sheltering in place, as I see all of you are, and maintaining social distance. We all need to do this, you know, for this thing to go away. There are also lots of people in need right now. There's lots that have been laid off, like for example, in the restaurant industry. So doing things like this feels to me like a productive thing. There are also healthcare workers, you know, as I mentioned, on the front lines that are running low on personal protective gear. So if you have masks or other, you know, protective gear at home, find a way to get them to your local ER. And if you need help with that, let me know. I'm happy to help you. I prefer to spend, you know, my worrying energy towards things that are within my control, and to, you know, to think about like ways that I can help, and that ends up feeling good instead of bad. So, you know, so 1, I would say, like, you know, try to think of ways to channel your worries productively. 2 is remember to keep a routine that's healthy for you. So you know, it's still the same, like eat healthy, get good sleep, and exercise. You know, a lot gyms are all closed, so, you know, figure out a home exercise routine. And if you're not someone that ate healthy, slept well, or exercised, this is a good time to try that. It will help you get through this, and it'll help you keep your immune system up. And it's also really important, I think, you know, as you are going stir crazy, so to say, to invest effort into figuring out for yourself ways to de-stress, figuring out things that you can do at home to make yourself happy. So, you know, I know that this feels like a really dark time, but one of the things that we all have control over is our own outlook. So it's good to have things to look forward to, like virtual dates with friends, like this, you know, and also if you're holed up with a significant other, you can plan real dates to have, you know, where you dress up and you sit down and you eat properly.
I love that.
If you're more of an introvert, maybe, you know, finally read that book that you've been meaning to read. You know, and, you know, we're all, like for myself, like I'm washing my hands a lot. Hopefully you are also washing your hands a lot. So I found a lotion that I love and I use it all the time, and that makes me happy. So these are all just examples. We all have different things that make us happy, and now is a good time to ask yourself what those are and let you let yourself have them while you're at home.
Oh, we love that.
Routine.
You know, we've been getting some amazing comments from people on things that they are doing. I saw a hot tub pop up though, because now I'm jelly, completely jelly. But I'm assuming that is your date. Yeah, Jennifer, awesome. I love your date. Just want to put in some things and get your perspective, Jenny, on them. Playing games with friends online, talking about what they're watching on Netflix. I've seen a lot of people joining up on groups on Netflix, on like Facebook and, you know, different places to watch things together. Meg had a great thing, mindfulness, movement, meaningful conversations, and mastery. And then there was one other one, offering suggestions about fun things you're doing, sharing that with other people. And then there was one other question I saw, which was helping friends. Oh, this is from the hot tub. Helping friends who are sheltered in place.
I'm also unmuting my hot tub cousin.
Yeah, we noticed you keep trying to unmute us.
Right. So you guys, you're in California, right?
We are, yeah.
So it's a little.
How is it feeling out where you are in California?
We've been like sheltered in place for over a week now, I think.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for a while, but I think feeling also just super blessed and lucky because we have a little bit more outdoor space than, you know, our friends in New York and Chicago we've been trying to reach out to. Just because it's very different, I think, to be sheltered in a small space than a little bit more outdoor. So I don't know, feeling lucky in the sun, but it's been scary here for a while. You know, it's
there's a lot of fun stuff going on online, like online yoga classes, like online concerts.
D-Nice's dance party on Instagram. Every 100,000 people were on it last night. If you love old school, like hip hop and R&B, that's the jam.
It's super fun. We've got a bunch of people from California. So I see you, Esther. I see you, Steffi. What's going on? We're happy to have all of you with us. And it's turning into this little global thing. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's back to what you were talking about. What is your of all the things you could recommend that we do for each other? Because I have found the thing that's helped me the most is when I'm reaching out to other people, like, because then I take the focus off myself, because I'm in the house by myself with my dog. And even the FedEx guy, like if I'm walking the dog outside, I'm always like, how you doing? You hanging in there okay? And he's like, thank you for asking. And it feels good. And I don't know how else to help other people when it comes to keeping their spirits up, because we can give money and do things to support, but what other kinds of support can we give each other, do you think? Where's Jenny? Did we lose her?
I lost her.
How did we lose?
Okay.
How did we lose Jenny?
I think we could toss that question to Nina, because that's exactly what we have her here to speak about.
Exactly. So, good segue, Belinda. Look at
Thank you. I have a lot of experience as a guest, but not as much as a host. So here we go. I'm learning from you. Nina, so we have Nina, who's an assistant editor at Food and Wine magazine, and I think some of the heroes of this, and hopefully will help with the efforts, are some of the editors at the magazines and newspapers who are really keeping us up to date, and maybe, to me, most poignantly, helping us to figure out, if we have dollars to help, where best to send them and how to help. Because I don't know about you, but I'm getting like masses of emails every hour with people asking to help with GoFundMe pages and all kinds of stuff. And I do want to help, and I want to know the best way. So Nina, maybe you can tell us your thoughts about that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Belinda and Jean, for having me. And it's so nice to meet all of you in person, I guess virtually, and hopefully in person one day. I think that right now there are two kind of most impactful ways to help. One is by using your time, and one is with money. The time kind of help right now is by calling your representatives, calling Congress, making sure that you are actually using your voice as a person who lives in this country to band together and help all of the people who are affected by this. And I think that as much as, of course, it is chefs, restaurateurs, sommeliers, barbacks, servers, etc. What I've been trying to make clear to a bunch of my friends who don't work on those levels of the industry is that it also affects people who just love eating at restaurants or love takeout, love being at these places. And so there is a website that I can send around that was created, I think, yesterday. It is saverestaurants.co. And that is what I'm seeing right now as kind of the premier gathering place for information and for, calling people about everything that's going on right now. And there have also been a ton of localized movements. In Chicago, we've seen a huge one, of course, San Francisco, New York. And so Food and Wine has actually pulled together all of those websites and all of that info into one story that I'll also paste into this chat. And then as far as money goes, I think that one of the great ways to support places you love right now is by going to that restaurant's GoFundMe. I have seen a ton of restaurants across the country setting these up, and the point is basically to invest in the restaurant right now so that the chefs and owners of those places can put the dollars directly into their employees' pockets right now. If a restaurant doesn't have a GoFundMe set up, another great way to support them is by buying gift cards, which in a similar way, that money goes right to the employees right now and you can use it later, and it can kind of feel like a free meal in a few months when this is all over. And then another thing to do, which unfortunately seems to be tapering off a little bit, is ordering in, or actually even better if you're able to pick up from a restaurant if they're still offering food at this point.
Really good stuff. And then also, Nina, you guys at Food and Wine specifically have kind of a resource or a subset of your website that people can log into and take a peek at. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so we have a section of the website called Food and Wine Pro, which you can sign up for our newsletter. Or you can just go to foodandwine.com/FWPro, which is on that screen. And on that portion of the website, you will see all of our coronavirus related coverage. We are really just trying to be a platform for guidance and support throughout all of this craziness. So also, please feel free to reach out to me if you have a story you want to tell, or if you're seeing something that isn't being written about right now that you think is really important. We would love to have your voice and your words on our platform.
Thank you, Nina. That's so awesome. And there's all kinds of great comments going on about laws in specific states. And Carly has something interesting going on with a Chicago-focused site called virtualdiningchicago.com. So all those links are in the chat. And because we have a great chef who's also on the front lines, I thought it'd be cool to ask Chef Sarah Grunberg from Monteverde and her partner Jamie, who's also a partner in Monteverde, to kind of say a few words about what's going on and how we can help.
Hey, thanks, Belinda. Hi, everybody. We are so thrilled to be here and see all of you. The funny fact of running a restaurant is we love seeing people on top of feeding all of them. And so when you can't see all the people that come in, it is hard. And so this is great. Thank you, Danny and Jackie and Belinda and Jean for hosting. I think there's a ton to talk about, and I don't know exactly where to start, but oh, look at that cat. Oh my God.
Jackie's cat. So cute.
Cat pictures. So I guess the first thing to talk about is, Nina, I really appreciate what you've been doing for all the restaurants, and I think gift cards and GoFundMes are really the best way to support. I think there's a question, is To Go Food gonna stay around? I think that all of us kind of wonder, is that part of shelter in place, or does it allow, I don't know, I'd love to know some of y'all's opinions. If y'all feel comfortable ordering to-go food, or if anyone feels like they don't. We have been cooking a lot at home, and as a chef, I'm just trying to utilize my time and practicing foods that I don't normally cook, and using this opportunity to work on some things that I normally wouldn't do. So right now I'm making focaccia. I have I'll take y'all on a little tour of the kitchen. I have my bread flour here with yeast, a little bit of sugar and salt. And then a secret is potato. So I have some potatoes here that are boiling in the stove. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the water, like I then blend the potato and water, and that's the liquid that goes into the focaccia. This is Jim Leahy's recipe, an amazing baker from New York, Sullivan Street Bakery. I've had his book for maybe 8 years or since it was published, and have not gotten a chance to test a recipe from there. And he has this whole idea of no kneading of the bread, and I found that it really hasn't been challenging to make bread. And bread's one of those things that if you can make it at home, it could really give you something to make by hand. I think that all of us need something to kind of try to make, and just be prepared that it might not be the best loaf you ever had, but the next time will be more delicious.
But also is that now like someone's birthday loaf as well today?
So I practiced the loaf previous, and I'm making a few little changes this time around, but this will be Jamie's birthday focaccia. So,
happy birthday, Jamie! Yay!
Happy birthday! Cheers!
Thank you for all the times you let me in last minute at Monteverde. Thank you.
Ditto.
I love it. Well, Jean, since we have a bit of time and, we want to keep these all to an hour so that everybody can just have like a nice hour of, chugging wine. I don't know. I feel like I'm the only one refilling my glass, but if you've met
I'm
me,
scared I'm going to miss something, Belinda. That's what my problem is. I'm like, me, fear of missing out on everything. Like, oh, I'm not going to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to do anything. That's how I am when I go out. What's going on? What's happening? Because my drink is sitting right there.
I've got 3 bottles ready to go right here, just in case.
Your particular way of doing things is a little more organized than mine. That's all I'm going to say. Are you ready to show us a couple of those wines that you uncorked there so generously?
I definitely am, but right before that, I have a good new friend named Jenny Shin who's here. She's up in Canada, and I feel like all the news that I've been reading has been specifically about us here in the US, and then also about in Italy and Asia, but I haven't really heard a lot about what's going on with our neighbors to the north. So I was hoping that Jenny, I know this is a little bit of sneak attack, but I was hoping that Jenny might say a word or two. Are you up for that, Jenny? Do we have you? Okay, never mind. So apparently when you have a little gaff like that, you're supposed to do a shot. So here it is.
Oh, is that what we do?
Yeah. If you touch your face, you do a shot, which I think in Jackie and Danny's version was a little more dangerous because more people had liquor than wine. But in our case, like chugging a glass of wine, I mean, this little sucker's like 11% alcohol. I think we're all fine, right? Come on, friends. A little, a little cheers.
I got to refill.
Alcohol and wine, huh?
The glass.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Yui. Thank you, Meg. I see all of you having a little glass with me. But here are the wines that I really love for brunch. I brought 2. And Jeff Wiggs, I know that Team Houston is really familiar with my favorites from Alsace. Sarah, too. We've got Houston in the house. So I love, on a great day, like I've got sunshine streaming into my apartment, Pinot Blanc. So, up in Alsace in the northeast of France, you've got Pinot Blanc and Riesling and Gewürztraminer and all these kind of bright, delicious, juicy styles of white wine. And they drink white wine with everything. They drink it with fish. They drink it with their Alsace pizza, tarte flambe, which is that delicious thin crust pizza with bacon and onions and cream that's so delicious. And they also drink it with meats. Like if you think of choucroute garni, if you've had that traditional sort of Alsace stew that's got all of the sausages and delicious stewed meats, they drink white wine with that too, which kind of blew my mind the first time I went to Alsace. So I've got one from Trimbach, and I'm starting a little easy today. although I do have 3 bottles of Pinot Blanc from different Alsace producers lined up, but I'm doing Trimbach and also Albert Mann. And so these are just like delicious dry styles of white that come from sexy lean bottles, because I'm taking Dr. Jenny Zhang's advice, and I'm going to be using that Peloton that I bought and stuffed into my tiny little apartment starting tomorrow, maybe, Jean. You know, you
tomorrow? Monday's a great day to start. I think the 23rd is a perfect day to get going on that.
So
yeah.
There's going to be lots of Alsace white wine drinking from very slim bottles as inspiration, and working on the Peloton. So I hope to friend all of you on Peloton as well. So maybe we could do virtual happy hour from like a spin class or something. Do they do that?
It would be nice if they had like the right kind of attachment to the bike that was either a stemless glass or one with a stem, safely. So, and you can have a nice long straw. See, you got to think about these things.
Jackie, yes, I think drunk spin, right? I mean, maybe this is the whole world. Like, we have cocktails can make things a little bit harder.
Oh, I love this curls with your wine glass. Hold up.
I'm all for drinking and exercise, but I feel like we should let people know that we don't take responsibility if anyone falls off their bike.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. No responsibility. You've all signed a waiver by nodding your head. Everybody, please not. Thank you, Nina. Thank you. Thank you.
Hot thrusts with the liquor bottles. Okay, y'all are creative. I'm loving this. Apparently you can FaceTime directly on the Peloton screen.
Oh, see, here we go.
I did not know that. Great for shoulder raises, those bottle raises. Okay, y'all are creative. I'm loving this. Every little bit of it.
I had a really good question also from my cousin in the hot tub. Is an Alsace bottle slim enough to fit in the Peloton cup holder? And the answer is yes.
Awesome.
Now you know. So that's what we've got for today. If there's anybody who'd like to say a few words or ask any questions, Gina and I are here. Jean, what else do we want to share today with all of our friends here on Virtual Boozy Brunch?
You know what? I just personally want to thank everybody for joining in. And I'm sure Danny and Jackie, you guys felt the same way this past week when it was starting. And the way people have been responding during this crisis, I think, has made my heart warm about where we're going as people. Like this, for those of you, my heart goes out to you if you're furloughed or are out of work straight out. But understand that hospitality, the industry, and the emotion behind it and the action of it is so important to who we are as human beings. And I think a lot of people have been taking a lot of things for granted of what the industry actually means, not only to our lives, but also to our economy and how we spend our time. And now we're having to think very purposefully about how we do that, where we spend our dollars, and making an effort to do that. So I salute all of you for coming together. I salute all of you for what you have done and for what you will do. And I pray that that the anxiety that happens in the world, and I just saw a note that Dr. Jenny's back on, so maybe we'll bring her back in for like a quick wrap up of this whole vibe. But the fact that, we have to live with this unknown, and maybe that's what the lesson that we're supposed to learn, and we'll figure it out together. And I just love that you guys are here to do that in whatever way it shows up, whether it's through a glass of vino or whatever your chosen beverage, or Jackie's cool ass cat, who I kind of want a cat now, and I'm not a cat. I don't know how B's gonna, because my dog is over here, like, he's over here passed out, like, dude, when is this party gonna be over?
Meanwhile, this fucker's like, I have no fucks left to give at all. No fucks.
I'm with zero fuck team myself.
Also, Sarah, where's Parmy? I know there's other cats in these homes. Esther, I know you have one. Where are all the kittens? Where are they all?
I'm gonna show you.
Here she goes.
We're showing off our pets.
I mean, Pets and cocktails, pets and boozy brunch. You couldn't do this in a restaurant. This is maybe even better. It's even more fun.
Cheers.
If you see Sarah's screen right now, there's Parmy.
Wait a minute. Is your cat named after cheese?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My hope was to have a red Giano one day, but I don't think that's happening.
I think that Matt Craig Kretschko, hi Matt, just put up a screen share of his favorite rosé. So, you know, feel free to share anything here. This is all about a boozy brunch where
you know what? I saw a note. How about Belinda? We check in. We have about 10 minutes left before we're done for today. How about we do a little check-in with what people are eating and drinking right now and showing everybody stuff.
I don't know what you have on your screen, but I had bacon and eggs.
That looks so good.
That looks so amazing. No, I want to see what everybody's eating and drinking. What else you got? Keep it going. Show us.
Yeah, do a full screen. Do a full screen. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
The hot tub crew.
I'm keeping it healthy today, y'all. I have oranges.
Nice.
I'm snacking.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got to do a lot of work later, so I'm trying to stay kind of like, it's not like a off day for me. So I was like, ooh, it's probably not a good idea for me to get my drink on right now.
Effie is drinking an Americano. I am too, Effie. Campari martini. I didn't skip the club soda though. You're bold.
So we had the fun idea, Jean and I, that it would also be fun to maybe do a little schedule so we know what we're going to be drinking, Jean and I, and then you're welcome to join in, but we'll see how that goes. I actually have a virtual tasting menu birthday party, dinner party happening on Wednesday. Yeah, Sarah's nodding. I think it could be really cool because if we're stuck like this for a while, then I don't know. I think I'm fun, but not all the time by myself with me having dinner. So we're actually going to put together a wine pairing, an entire tasting menu for 8 different couples and get it all delivered so that we can all enjoy it together, which I think will be really fun. And I also have a virtual baby shower coming up soon with 70 women celebrating a baby from all over the country. So I think it's really cool that all these really neat things are happening so that we can still be together. Because I do have one hard and fast rule, and that's that I don't drink alone. I will drink a lot when I'm with all of you, but I will not drink alone. So all of you are definitely helping me not violate my sort of rule. But of course, we're all happy to have all of you here, whether you're drinking or not. I saw a very old friend, Russell Fry, in here somewhere, so I'm very curious what he's drinking because I know he has an incredible wine cellar and used to pop into the Charlie Trotter's bar when I was running that place and the wine program there and ordered some pretty epic bottles. So, you know, please share everything that you're drinking so we can chat about it and share that experience together. And yeah, we're gonna.
It's like Russell is connecting to audio, so we're just waiting for him to come online and share that.
All right, Russell Fry, you better tell us what you're drinking because I know it's something fabulous.
You know what? In the meantime, do we want to tell people about next week, Belinda?
Yes. So I'm super excited. We're gonna do this every week, just as Danny and Jackie are kind of like plowing through and taking care of all these people and making this safe space for all of us to connect. Jean and I will be here every Sunday drinking some wine and whatever else you want to drink and share with us. And we're going to bring in a lot of fun people to chat. I know that in this group, we have some amazing people that have some really smart stuff and wonderful stuff to share. So we'd love to hear you in the ensuing week. So every week we're going to do this at the same time and have our brunch together because that's just something that I already miss. I loved having Saturday and Sunday super boozy brunches with many of you that are here and hope we get to do it also when we get back together when this is all over. So next week, we're gonna have my favorite makeup artist on earth, who is an Oscar red carpet makeup artist. And the only pictures that I really like of myself are the pictures that I took after he helped me. And I think there's like a thing about how to look cute on Zoom because I know a lot of people are doing these Zoom meetings for work and also doing Zoom happy hours and things like that. And maybe Mark, you could also do like a little man liner tutorial for us too, something fun like that. Oh, I didn't unmute him. I failed. Mark,
It's
you're unmuted. Okay.
we can teach about man-touring.
Yeah. Every time we do pre-prom together, I try to get some of those James Beard nominated men to take me up for manliner, manscaping, and man-touring. We had a couple.
Totally. And thank you for inviting me to this, because as wonderful as being around friends to virtually drink, you know, it's definitely not the same as being in person, but I always feel the same with makeup. Is like when I tell anyone, when you're feeling down, break out the brightest, most obnoxious lipstick you have in your drawer and put it on. It is impossible to be sad when you look at yourself in the mirror. But yeah, we're gonna plan some fun things like, you know, martini and mascara, or Lambrusco and lipstick, bubble and beauty blenders. We're gonna figure something out fun so that every week there'll be a different theme, and you'll get to learn how to make yourself look like a celebrity at home. And every single time you're on one of these virtual parties, people are gonna say like, wow.
I love that. I feel like I mean, I didn't master it yet. I tried, Mark. I tried. Right. We'll get your help and it'll be better. And
the one thing that I want to mention to everyone is that there's this product by Beauty Blender, and it's called the Selfie Shield, okay? It is a dry oil, okay? Anyone can use it. The reason I want to mention this is because not only it's an SPF dry oil, but not only will it protect against UVA, UVB, even though not a lot of us are going outside, but it actually protects you against HEV, which is high energy visible blue light, which is emitted from all of your electronic screens. So all that blue light actually causes breakdown of your collagen and actually can cause more wrinkles. So while we're virtually having more parties and drinking with each other, we still want to protect our skin.
Good Lord. We're not even safe in our houses, Mark? What the fuck? Oh man, I did not know that. I have never heard that my whole life.
So, and it's called Selfie.
Oh wait.
Cell phones.
That's my phone. Here we are. Okay, say that again.
It protects you from your cell phones, your computer screens, anything, any sort of artificial flash or fluorescent lighting.
Wow, I didn't even know we were in danger from that. Okay, next week is gonna be so fire. I'm totally into it. You know what, Belinda, do you want me to go through everybody's information so that we all have it? And you know what, just as a little piece of housekeeping for everyone, we have some links put into the chat to the side. If you don't get a chance to grab them, we are going to send out an email at the end of this that has absolutely everything we talked about in it, so that you can find the wines, you can find that selfie stuff is going to protect us from our electronics, selfie shield from our electronics, you know, problems that I didn't know I had. And all of that, and to also tip Cassie for her great work today. I am stalling while I share my screen. One moment, please.
Thank you, Jean, for doing that, because I'm the Luddite in this group. I mean, I don't know how Jackie and Danny do this. I had to learn how to not look like I'm typing and all this fun Zoom stuff, so thank you.
There's Cassie's information again, if you need it. Venmo at Cassie-Sakai, S-A-K-I-A-I. There's that information. If you want to find Nina, here's all of her social information and her information for food and wine and all this great stuff she talked about today about hashtag Save Restaurants and saverestaurants.co. And then I heard that Dr. Jenny's back on, and Amanda Puck has a question for her. And I think we have a little bit of time to get to that, to kind of end on that note, which I think will probably be one that we want to send us off in a good way. So Amanda, are you there? Let's see, where's Amanda? You have questions for Jenny. What's your question, girl? Oh, she has to sign off now. Oh
no, I
gotta sign off, you guys. Sorry.
That's okay.
We'll
see you next time.
See you later. Okay.
Bye, guys.
So, Jean, just so everyone knows, Amanda is the marketing director at Mariano's. So that's a business that is just super crazy right now. So whereas many of us are just at home like, oh, what are we gonna do? She is bonkers busy.
Right. And I went to Mariano's, and I need to go back today because I thought of something that I forgot, and I'm like stressed out at just the thought of going. But we shall see how that all goes. Yeah. Belinda, you want to wrap things up for people, put a pretty bow on it?
So I would love for everybody to raise a toast to doing what we can to stay sane, doing what we can to do more good and to help all of our friends through this tough time. And maybe in doing so per Dr. Jenny, we're also helping ourselves. So I hope that you'll all join us again next Sunday and tell all your friends so that we can make this a fun thing that happens until we can have brunch IRL in real life. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Keep an eye for your inbox for next week and all the stuff we talked about today. Love you.